Hi, it's Water Surfing TV here, and I went to Vidcon last week, and this is kind of awkward for me. I was gonna do this over gameplay, but I felt like this would be more personal, talking to the camera. Not really fond of talking to a camera, but hey, I guess it's more personal on some sort of ground like that. But if you're probably wondering why don't you have any footage, I didn't record anything at VidCon. However, I did take pictures. They're on my Instagram, so if you're interested, they're there. But I'll go ahead and put pictures here when I'm talking about that subject. But anyway, this is kind of a I'm sorry, I'm not even prepared for this. So basically, I'm gonna just tell you about what happened when I went. This is what I did, and basically what I thought of the whole convention, because this was my first time ever going to VidCon. I'm gonna start with basically registration day. We came later in the day and we picked up our badges. I don't know if you can see that. And these are ribbons you can collect at the convention center on the community floor, but I'll get into that later. So I had the creator badge, which is basically there's 3 levels of badges if anyone's unfamiliar. It's community, creator, and industry, and then there's the other ones that are there too. But I chose creator, which basically allowed you to do some of the creator panels and hear what some of the other YouTubers had to say. So basically, day 0, I picked up the badge. I'm sorry, I have the hiccups. I feel like a big doof. So we picked up the badge, and we basically we just hung out for a little bit, seeing what everyone was doing. Basically, everybody had the red community badges, so that was the most common one there, obviously. So after picking up our badges, we came back to our hotel and waited for the next day. So this is where the fun began. Day 1 at VidCon, we showed up there at 7 a.m. and waited in a line for like about an hour until the lesson at about 8 o'clock. And there wasn't really anything to do in terms of creator wise until like 10 o'clock ish. Let me see, I can pull up our schedule so I can have a better idea of what we did, because it was I'm recording this basically a few days after we went to the convention. So we kind of skipped a lot of the creator panels on day 1 because we were just exploring the convention center and the community floor, which my opinion was a madhouse because they had all the panel, not the panelists, but all the advertisers and stuff on this floor, basically advertising their product. This is where you can get stuff like this, and we also got some T-shirts as well. This was actually on day 3. We got the T-shirts, but we got one for some online company. And one from Kodak. And basically we explored the community hall for about an hour or 2. We waited for our first panel, which we actually didn't go to because it filled up. And yeah, we didn't go to that one. And then eventually basically a few hours went by and we're still walking around the convention center, exploring the ins and outs, everything. Also doing a little bit of stalking since we're creeps. By the way, I went with my girlfriend, if anyone was curious. But we just walked around, and then we went to our second panel, which was around 12:30, and it was like how not to make a film by the people at Rocket Jump. We ended up walking out because they were just talking about their backstories instead of how not to make a film. And basically it was more like common sense, like, well, don't be mean to your actors. I'm like, what? That part seemed a little bit of a issue. So eventually we went to I think we actually ended up going to a different one. We were supposed to go to how to build your audience, but we went to a how to write for online video, which is it was a panel Tomska was on, and he was actually really funny in person. He was talking about him and 4 other people. I don't really remember their names, but they wrote for other online shows, both on YouTube and other websites. But they were talking about basically the aspects of writing for online video, and how basically you have to crank out ideas a lot, because online video is always at everyone's fingertips, and people can leave the room at any point in time, which also they brought up in the thing. It's kind of like leaving a big classroom, or in this case the panel with about 500 seats. People can see when you're leaving up on the stage. If you watch the Vidcon live stream, I don't know if they did the creator panels or not, but you could basically see everybody there because you're on a big stage and we're on these seats right here. But we ended up going to that one instead, which was a better choice, because after the panel, even though there's strict security, Tomska actually snuck out on the side and actually came and talked to us for about like 30 minutes. And this is where I'm going to put the picture up. I got a picture with him. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But basically he was talking to us about, well, not us, but he was having conversations with other people about what's coming up on his YouTube channel, which I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't want to give out any information that they don't want getting leaked out. But he was just talking about how he's thankful for all of us and stuff like that. And so I got a picture with him. So I've been following Tomska since basically I've been on YouTube since 2007. So and eventually we went to we were split decisions between the VR panel ran by Brandon from Stress Level Zero, and the Markiplier Q&A. And we actually attempted to go to the Markiplier Q&A, but the room was full. Yeah, not really a big surprise there, but it was full, and basically had to show up 2 hours before it started. So we didn't get into that one. It's a shame, but hey, the VR one was pretty cool. He was talking about what he sees with VR technology coming into entertainment and what we can do with it. And basically it said, this is 360 video, this is VR, they're not the same. Because technically they're not. It's a different experience. Depending on which VR device you're using. Personally, I have a Vive, and he was talking about the Vive a lot, so it was more connectable about that. But we did leave a few minutes before the panel ended because most of the people that were there didn't really know about VR. And then after that panel, we ended up leaving and getting ready for day 2, which was, I guess, more of a big day. But so basically we showed up at 8 o'clock again. We just walked in the building because instead of just lining up at 7 a.m., we actually just walked in the building at 8 o'clock. They said stricter security, but they basically just let anybody in with a badge. And didn't really bag check, but hey, there's a buttload of people there. And I'm sorry if this is getting boring, but I'm just talking about stuff I'm going off the top of my head and trying to remember and going off my little list I made. So the second day, we actually just hung out for about an hour or two. And there's lounges for the creators, and we hung out in the Patreon one, and those guys are really cool. Basically, it was just like a little lounge where you just sit and use their Wi-Fi, and they had like snacks and drinks out, which I guess was the perk of being a creator. You get to do these other stuff. And also we talked to some other creators that are like us, and talked about their content. A little weird. Sorry, I need that to wake up so you can see my YouTube channel. No, I'm just joking. So after we hung out there for a while, we ended up going to the Rocket Jump Shorts Q&A. And same story as last time. They were basically just talking about their backstory, and they didn't really because it was more of an informal thing of people asking questions, but people kept asking the wrong questions instead of like, what do you guys, how do you guys write something, or how do you come up with this, or blah 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 blah. They said they were like, how'd you get into this? And basically that was the whole panel, was them just talking about their backstory. Nothing wrong with that. It's always nice to see how people started, but sometimes personally you're more interested in what they're having to make. I'm not trying to come off rude or anything, but I'm more interested in the content. I mean, we all know where we started, but I guess talk about what you guys are doing now. Because basically, I'm going off track a little bit, but basically everybody said, this is the general idea, is they got popular because they got lucky. Basically one video went viral and that's what helps them raise to fame. Not trying to beat around the bush, but that's the true part, is I got lucky. So after that panel, we actually ended up leaving a few minutes early and going to the next one. And this was mechanics of running a gaming channel. And unfortunately, we had to leave that one because the room filled up. And I'm not against being in crowds, but when the room's filled up and basically there's no seats left and people are sitting next to you, and not trying to be gross or anything, but some of these people haven't showered in a few weeks and you can smell it. That's not fun at all. So we had but I figured out why it filled up so quickly, because a popular YouTube by Jacksepticeye, I think, is that how you pronounce it? I know about him, but I don't follow him, so he was on the panel, so that's why the room basically filled up. So we ended up leaving that, just went to go get lunch, and we waited for our next panel, which was around 2 o'clock. It's where I split off from my girlfriend, and she went to I guess Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared Q&A, and I went to the Elaborate Effects panel, which they were talking about making special effects and stuff, and practical ones. I can't answer for her because she was at that one, but she said she ended up leaving early because people kept asking, how'd you make this, why'd you make this, blah blah blah, and they weren't really giving they were giving an artistic answer instead of, we made this because we wanted to, instead of like, oh well, I should know, I'm an art major and I know how we like to beat around the bush, but I guess I'm the one who's straight and go, I made it because I wanted to, instead of because my inner deep feelings wanted to. You get the idea. So I'll talk about the Elaborate Effects one, which is actually the one I actually stayed for basically the whole thing. Well, I stayed at the other ones the whole thing, but this is the one that I found the most interesting personally. And they were talking about their experiences making special effects for YouTube, along with there's other people besides Corridor Digital talking about their experiences. I think their name was Raka Raka. I don't remember, but they were talking about how they had a helicopter and they basically threw cars with it, which that sounds pretty cool. I don't have the budget to do that, but they said they like doing practical because it looks more realistic than special effects, which according to another panel, it's better to be more realistic than go fake, which I think that was that panel they were talking about it. So they try to make it look as realistic as possible without disconnecting you from the overarching story, I guess. But this was pretty interesting. And right after that, we ended up going to Corridor Digital's Q&A, which is right across the way. And they were talking about how they started. Basically, it was just an informal thing. And I asked the question of what happens when everything goes wrong, because a lot of my shoots, things do go wrong. Sometimes in a minor way, sometimes in a major way. Major way being camera doesn't work, actor doesn't show up, and minor things like, oh, I forgot my line, that's minor. But they were talking about how on their Mad Max shoot, how the car lit on fire and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure they talked about in their vlog, because I remember hearing it before, but they went into detail and watching their facial expressions and like, oh, that was pretty entertaining. But then after the panel, we talked to them for about 30 minutes, and they were talking about their movie and stuff, and I'm excited to see that. I'm not gonna spoil or anything, and because I don't want to be that guy who spoils what they're doing. But they told us what it was about, and they said it should be doing a trailer or something in fall. So if you are a fan of Corridor Digital, that's all I'm gonna give you. But after that, we ended up leaving because, let's see. We ended up leaving because there's nothing else to do. And I did get a picture with Nico from Corridor Digital, if you're wondering. Just jump back a little bit. There's the picture. Whoa. So basically we went back, got some dinner, and then we waited for the next day, which we started with. We actually had a full day today, on which is Saturday, the 25th. We had a full day, so basically got there at 8 o'clock. We walked around the community for a little bit. That's how I got these badges, these ribbons. Because if you collect 5 of them, you got to get entered in a drawing, which my girlfriend actually has more than I do. Because she thought some of those were cool, and I only grabbed a few. And, but we hung out on the community floor and walked around some of the panels. And saw some cool stuff that I guess we didn't get to see before because that area was flooded the first 2 days. There was like no walking room. It was like Disneyland on a bad day. So our first panel was "Where's the Fair Use?" and they were talking about copyright issues, and I think Matthias was on it and Boogie2988 was on it. Personally, I was there to hear what Boogie had to say, but Matthias's was pretty interesting. They were talking about fair use on YouTube and what you can and can't do, and they're also talking about get free music and stuff like that you can use for your videos. And they're also talking about some other issues, such as the React thing that happened a few months ago and why it failed and stuff like that. Following that, we actually ended up taking a break. We were supposed to go to Jack's Films Q&A, but we were actually going to another panel ran by Jack, I think an hour after that. So we just ended up getting a nice little lunch in between that. And we ended up going to, it was a panel called Jack and Sean Go Viral. And they were making a viral video about basically making fake viral videos, but viral videos that do go viral, but they were actually making it fake, something like that. There's going to be a video on Sean's channel, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, where they basically spit milk in each other's face, and I recorded that live. If you are interested, I don't have the file anymore on my phone, but I do have it on my Instagram, so you can go check it out right here. That's my Instagram. Go check it out. It's really gross. And then after they did that, because they were filming a video with us, which was pretty cool. And then following that, there was like 30 minutes left, and they just talked about viral videos, and Jack's audience made fun of him for having a big forehead and stuff like that. Ha ha ha. Because they're really funny. Following that, we went to another panel. Basically, this last day was all our panels. We went to a panel called "There's a Troll in the Dungeon." Obviously, it was basically all females except for Boogie. And he also talked about his YouTube channel getting hacked, which really sucks, but it's back now. And he's like, joke's on him, now I got a story to tell about trolls. So I guess it worked out in his favor. And they were talking about how bad trolls can get on the internet, to basically how the term troll has changed. And personally, trolls have changed on the internet. Basically, it used to be someone who was just acting funny and for attention, but now it's just people who want to see you die or burn. Term has changed a lot in the past few years. And I know some trolls might be watching this video, so hi. Following that was actually our last panel. And if you're wondering, no, we didn't meet Boogie. because security was tighter in this room because this was the big creator floor, and basically they basically guided them out, and we didn't get to even say hi. We were going to go to a panel called Twitch or YouTube Gaming. Unfortunately, that one filled up as well. I don't remember who was on the panel, but I know they were all popular, and to be honest, I don't really care for them that much because I don't really like, not to be a hypocrite, but there's some people that do better game commentary than others do, and I guess what the people on that panel I don't really connect with, because some of them are kind of boring. But hey, they have the subscribers, so I'm not one to talk. So we hung out for about another hour or two at Vidcon, and we eventually ended up leaving, which I realized was a bad mistake because everybody who we did want to meet decided to come up the last minute, and we missed a lot of great opportunities to meet some people. But hey, what can you do? Now, the question some of you might be, if you're still sticking around, that is, would I do this again? Personally, yes, I would. But I would prefer to be in the industry panel, because basically you're paying extra to market yourself. And I would like to market my YouTube channel a little bit more. And basically industry is for the people who are professionals in the online video, like such as big companies. Represents for big companies, and I would prefer to do that because that way I can talk to someone who's higher up, or some of the people that are hanging up out there. Like we actually, I didn't even notice because they don't even show their face. But my girlfriend pointed out one of the Fine Brothers was just walking down the stairs, and I didn't even notice. But they were walking down from industry. They didn't have an industry. They had a full access badge, which is basically what most of the people who are on panels had. Means they could, they basically are full access creators. So they can go anywhere in the convention center, including backstage, which would have been cool to go to. But hey, I'm not one of the big wig YouTubers, so But I would do it again, probably industry. And if I can't do that because it's really expensive. It's like $500 versus $100, and I did the $100 one. But I would do it again personally. I would do some things differently, and probably plan better. Since this was my first one, it was an interesting experience. It was also my first convention. This is because I don't get out much, as you can tell. I'm a big fat nerd. No, but I don't get out much. And that's the first convention I ever went to. I'll probably go again though. Personally, I would want to go again, and I'll try to vlog next time. I didn't vlog at all because people were everybody and their grandma was walking around. Hey, yesterday I was talking about vid, and they were walking around like that, and I didn't want to look stupid. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm gonna look stupid anyway. But I would probably vlog again. I'm sorry I didn't vlog this time. I was basically, this was my first thing, and I wanted to basically see everything, but I didn't get to see everything. And following VidCon, they had a Disneyland day, but we didn't actually attend that. Instead, we just went home because it was really hot that day, and I didn't want to walk around Disneyland hot. Other than that, thanks for watching this far or just listening. I'm sorry I'm a boring person, but I'm trying to work on that. I don't really get that much interaction besides my job with people, so I don't really have a not really good at talking.